Hi friends, in this video we are going to study about the different types of project plans. Schedule, cost, quality and safety can be identified as specific items on which the success of a construction project is evaluated. Although there is a complex interrelationship between these, it is possible to discuss them independently. A statement such as project being completed with very high quality but with different levels of cost and time overruns can be least be technically understood. Thus, at times it makes sense to have different plans for each and every criteria, like a time plan for schedule, a cost plan, quality plan, safety plan, etc. In this lecture, we will be discussing the five major types of construction project plans and some templates: the time plan, the manpower and labor plan, the material or procurement plan, construction equipment plan, and the finance plan. Time plan. Time is the essence of all construction projects, and contracts often have clauses outlining the awards like bonuses or penalties like liquidated damages for completing a project ahead or later the scheduled date. Several reasonably well established techniques are today available, and some of the common scheduling techniques are CPM, critical path method, PERT, program evaluation and review technique, precedence network analysis, line of balance technique, and linear program chart. It depends upon the intended objective and the nature of the project which method should be selected. Each of them will be discussed in detail later on. Here we have shown an example of the MSP grant chart. The activities, duration, its start and finish dates are listed on the left hand side, while on the right hand side it is graphically depicted by bar chart. Next is the manpower plan. This plan focuses on estimating the size of workforce, division in functional system, and scheduling the deployment of manpower. It may be noted that manpower planning also involves establishing labor productivity standards, providing suitable environment, and financial incentives for the optimum productivity. This diagram shows majorly a staff plan wherein first the manpower demand forecast is understood. Next, manpower utilization study is done. The current manpower supply forecasting, like according to the function, department, skills or training required, age, and length of service of the people, is noted. Internal supply forecast by considering the labor stability index, labor turnover index is noted, while external supply forecast is done by looking at the local labor market, the competition for labor, etc. At the end, the HR has to plan the manpower supply status, the training and development, its HR policy, and the manpower deployment schedule. At the level of a construction project, a labor plan in this form can be prepared for month on month basis tracking. The different disciplines are noted like concreting, scaffolding, bar binding, carpenters, masons, waterproofing works, painters, etc. The units of work to be performed, and accordingly, with respect to the obtained productivity at site, the numbers are calculated for the month. This helps in augmenting the labor resources as and when required. This can also be represented as a labor histogram for future planning. This is commonly used in most of the companies for manpower plan. Next, we come to material plan. This involves identification of required materials, estimation of its required quantities, defining its specifications, identifying sources, procurement plan, monitoring its usage, and the inventory control. Next is material plan. For a project, the major materials are required to be planned in advance because it will significantly alter the project cost and schedule if it is not taken into consideration. The first step in material planning is to identify the required materials as per the scope of work. The quantity estimates have to be prepared from the drawings, proper specifications from the architect and client to be written down, the identifying its sources or availability, vendors, etc., also to be selected. Then the procurement plan is listed, is monitoring the usage during construction. Also, inventory control in the site store is to be done. In a sample of a procurement plan is shown wherein the material units, the expected quantity, and the specification or make for the materials is listed. Then it is necessary to consider the lead time for each of the material. Accordingly, the order is to be placed. The delivery dates are monitored. This is usually done by the planning person at site. Next is construction equipment plan. Modern construction is highly mechanized, and the role of heavy equipments is ensuring timely completion of projects. Machines are used in modern construction for mass excavation, trenching, compacting, grading, hoisting, concreting, drilling, material handling, etc. Hence, the list of the important equipments that are to be required in different phases of the construction is to be listed down in this plan. The first step is to list equipments required. Second, it is important to note the equipment specification. Accordingly, the equipment productivity is derived. Then, the hiring or buy decision is made. And finally, the deployment schedule for each of these equipments is planned. Here, a sample equipment plant is given, wherein some of the equipments like tractor, dumper, poke lane, tower crane, and DG sets is considered. The mobilization date for each is noted, and its release date is also given. If the duration of months is longer, the project owner or project manager can take a decision to either buy the equipment. Also, if the company is into continuous construction business, it is beneficial. However, if the use is for a very short time, the work can be subcontracted or the equipment can be hired for that duration. Next, we come to the finance plan. Given that the large construction projects require huge investment and there is a long time to complete it, it is obvious that all the money is not required at any one point in time. Contractors fund their projects from the working capital itself, a part of which is raised by the contractors using their own sources like bank loans against assets, deployment of resources from the inventory, whereas the rest part comes from mobilization advance for the project, running account bills which is paid by the client, secured advances against materials which are bought at site. Then there are advance payments and credits from suppliers to get the work done. Thus, a careful analysis of the same is required to be made to ensure that the project stays afloat and is always net cash flow positive. To determine this, the cash flow diagram is prepared. This takes into consideration the cash inflow, that is, money coming in to the project, and cash outflow, the money spent. The total inflow minus outflow will give the net cash flow for the month. At certain points of time, when the activities take longer to complete, it is possible that you won't be able to bill to the clients, hence, there won't be any cash inflow for the month. However, you have to ensure payment to your vendors, subcontractors, and laborers. Hence, that month can specifically be shown as negative. However, the same money can be obtained in next month, and thus the project will once again become cash positive. Also, in the finance plan, we can see that profit and loss statements are recorded monthly by the project accountant. This ensures that the intended project profit is achieved. Thank you.